mother and her 6-year-old twins found murdered in their home. Just one day earlier, she stood in court for a contentious divorce hearing. Today, the home is quiet, marked by police tape and silence. How could a new beginning end in such unimaginable horror? The timing is chilling, the scene unthinkable. And what happened in the hours between court and killing has left a community shattered and desperate for answers. In this episode, we ask, what happened in the final 24 hours of Charity Beallis' life that led from a courtroom to a crime scene? Charity Powell Beallis was a 40-year-old mother of 3 living in Bonanza, Arkansas. To those who knew her, she was a devoted Christian woman, strong in faith and family, and endlessly protective of her children. She had twin 6-year-olds, a boy and a girl, with her husband, Dr. Randall Beallis, a well-known local physician. Charity also had an older son from a previous relationship. But behind the family portrait was a storm that had been brewing for years. Charity and Randall were in the final stages of a tense and painful divorce. Earlier in the year, Randall had pleaded guilty to third-degree domestic battery in October 2025 after allegedly strangling Charity in front of their children. That incident prompted her to flee their home and seek full custody of the twins. On December 2, 2025, Charity walked into a courtroom in Sebastian County for what was scheduled as the final divorce hearing. Court records show the judge granted joint custody of the children to both parents. Charity, according to those close to her, wasn't happy with the ruling, but it marked the end of a long, exhausting legal battle. She left the courthouse that day, stepping into what many thought would be the first day of her new life. But within hours, something went terribly wrong. The next morning, December 3rd, Charity wasn't responding to calls or messages. Concerned friends contacted authorities and requested a welfare check. Deputies from the Sebastian County Sheriff's Office arrived at her upscale home in Bonanza around 9:30 a.m. They were let in by 2 workers who were reportedly at the home for maintenance or service. Inside, deputies made a gruesome discovery. Charity and her twin children were dead. All 3 had been shot. The home showed no signs of forced entry. The scene was devastating. Investigators quickly secured the property as a crime scene, and the news spread fast across the community. The timeline alone is enough to raise eyebrows. Charity appeared in court on the 2nd. By the morning of the 3rd, she and her children were gone. How could something so violent, so calculated, happen in such a narrow window? And the mystery only deepens from there. First, there was no immediate suspect. Law enforcement said everyone they interviewed was cooperating, including Charity's estranged husband, Dr. Randall Beallis. He voluntarily sat down with investigators and denied any involvement. His attorney released a statement calling the murders a horrific tragedy and insisted Randall had nothing to do with it. Yet the timing is undeniably suspicious. Charity had just finalized a divorce from a man who had entered a guilty plea for domestic battery just months prior. She had posted on social media in the months leading up to her death, warning that she felt unsafe and unprotected. In one now widely shared post, she wrote, "I'm living a battle, and the system that's supposed to protect us is failing, while the offender, a local doctor, is being shielded." In another chilling message, she warned, "Lives are at stake, including the lives of young children." She didn't name names, but those who knew her understood exactly what she meant. Her words weren't vague fears, they were pleas. Charity was trying to protect herself and her kids, and she felt like the system was ignoring her. In one heartbreaking court transcript, she stated, "I don't feel safe. I've followed every legal step, and I still feel like my voice doesn't matter." Domestic violence advocates in Arkansas have since pointed to her case as another tragic example of how the system often fails to protect mothers escaping abusive relationships. They argue that Randall's respected professional status as a physician may have influenced the handling of Charity's complaints, suggesting a pattern of protection for powerful individuals. Then there's the crime scene itself. Police haven't released many details, but we know there was no forced entry. That suggests the victims may have known their killer. Was it someone Charity trusted? Someone she let in willingly? Ballistics and forensic evidence haven't been made public. Authorities have issued over a dozen search warrants and say they've collected a large amount of evidence. But more than a month later, no arrests have been made. The lack of resolution has left the community rattled. How could a killer shoot a mother and 2 young children and simply disappear without a trace? But this wouldn't be the first tragedy linked to this family. A disturbing pattern would soon begin to emerge. What happened next legally would only deepen the family's grief, a story we'll explore in the next episode. In just 24 hours, Charity Beallis went from finalizing a divorce to becoming the victim of a triple homicide. She did everything she could to escape an abusive relationship. She followed the legal process, she spoke out, she sought help. But the system she turned to didn't save her. So who pulled the trigger? Now, a bigger question looms. Could the person she was trying to escape have played a role in her death? The investigation is still open. No arrests have been made. No suspects have been named. But one thing remains certain. Someone out there knows the truth. In our next episode, we turn the spotlight on Dr. Randall Beallis, Charity's estranged husband. From a troubled marriage to a prior tragedy involving his first wife, the shadows around him are growing. Is this just a tragic coincidence or the sign of a disturbing pattern? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. The story is just beginning.